Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're about to dive deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the United States Bicentennial Quarter, minted in 1776 to 1976. This coin isn't just a piece of American currency, it's a symbol of the nation's 200th anniversary, and it holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. But what makes this particular quarter so valuable, and why is it worth so much more than you might think? Stick around, because we're going to explore its fascinating history, rare features, and how you could potentially find one worth a small fortune. Let's start with the basics. The 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial Quarter was released to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The U.S. Mint produced these quarters in large numbers, but there's a twist: they're not all the same. If you take a closer look at these coins, you'll quickly realize that not all 1776 to 1976 quarters are created equal. There are some that have features, errors, and conditions that make them stand out from the rest, and they could be worth far more than their face value. Now, let's break down what makes this coin so special. The obverse of the coin features the traditional image of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has been on U.S. quarters for years. But the reverse, or the back side, is where things get interesting. Instead of the usual eagle, the Bicentennial Quarter features a unique design: a drum, crossed rifles, and 13 stars, representing the original 13 colonies. This design was chosen to mark the nation's milestone, and it's a beautiful, patriotic depiction of America's heritage. But here's where things get even more intriguing. While most of these quarters were mass-produced, some of them have rare variations or errors that make them extremely valuable to collectors. These errors can range from something as small as misprints, such as a doubling of numbers, to larger mistakes during the minting process that resulted in off-center strikes or unintentional imprints. If you happen to find a Bicentennial Quarter with one of these errors, you could be looking at a coin that's worth far more than $0.25. But what about condition? As with any collectible item, the better the condition, the higher the value. Most Bicentennial Quarters were circulated in the 1970s and 1980s, meaning they're often worn, scratched, and damaged. But if you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, unblemished and shiny, then you've got something rare on your hands. Coins that have been well preserved, without any visible wear or damage, are in high demand, especially among serious collectors. Now, let's get to the good part: the price. You might be wondering just how much this coin could really be worth. The truth is, depending on its condition and any unique errors, it could be worth quite a lot more than just a quarter. In fact, if you happen to come across an extremely rare, error-free, mint condition Bicentennial Quarter, it could be worth as much as $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single coin. Imagine stumbling upon a coin worth that much tucked away in your collection or inherited from a family member. It's a reminder that coins, even those that seem common at first glance, can sometimes carry an immense amount of historical and monetary value. So, if you're a coin collector, or even just a casual enthusiast, it's time to start paying closer attention to your quarters. Check your old change, dig through your coin jars, and don't overlook any Bicentennial Quarters you come across. You might just be holding on to a small treasure. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more coin discoveries, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on learning about rare and valuable coins. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting. Who knows, you might just have a future $80,000 coin in your hands. Top 2, we've got something truly special to talk about, a coin that honors one of the most influential figures in American history, the United States Maya Angelou Quarter from 2022. This coin isn't just a piece of currency, it's a tribute to an extraordinary woman whose words and legacy continue to inspire generations. But did you know that this coin could be worth a lot more than its face value? Stick with me, because we're about to uncover why the Maya Angelou Quarter is catching the eyes of collectors and how you might find one worth a small fortune. the 2022 Maya Angelou quarter is part of the American Women Quarters program, which was launched by the U.S. Mint to honor the contributions of remarkable women throughout American history. Maya Angelou, the poet, author, and civil rights activist, was chosen as one of the first honorees in this program, and for good reason. Her words have empowered millions, and she became a symbol of strength, resilience, and the fight for justice. The design of this coin captures her spirit beautifully, and it's now a part of history, which makes it even more valuable for collectors. On the obverse, the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has been on quarters for years. But it's the reverse that really stands out. The Maya Angelou quarter showcases an elegant design that features Angelou with her arms outstretched, representing the freedom and empowerment she inspired. Surrounding her image are the words, $quarter, and United States of America, along with the year 2022. What makes this design even more striking is the intricate detail, making it a beautiful coin both artistically and symbolically. Now, let's talk about why this coin is catching the attention of collectors. While many of these quarters are still being circulated, there are some key factors that could make your Maya Angelou quarter more valuable than others. First and foremost, the rarity of the coin is a big factor. Though millions of these quarters were minted, a limited number of them will be in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that are well preserved, without any wear or damage, are far more desirable to collectors. If you find a coin that has never been in circulation and is in near-perfect condition, it could be worth much more than just 25 cents, but there's more to it than just condition. Coins with rare minting errors or design variations can make them even more valuable. For instance, if the coin has an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, or if it features unusual metal compositions, it could be worth significantly more. These errors occur during the minting process and create one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors will pay top dollar for. So, make sure to check your Maya Angelou quarters carefully for any signs of these rare mistakes. Another thing to consider is the overall demand for these coins. As part of the American Women Quarters program, this coin is part of a series that will honor many other remarkable women. As time goes on, the Maya Angelou quarter may become even more desirable to collectors looking to complete the set. Coins that are part of a limited series tend to appreciate in value over time, especially when they commemorate such a significant cultural figure like Maya Angelou. So, how much could your Maya Angelou quarter actually be worth? Well, if you happen to have one in pristine, uncirculated condition or perhaps one with a rare error, you could be sitting on a real treasure. Some collectors believe this coin could be worth as much as $60,000, yes, you heard that right, $60,000 for a single coin. It might sound unbelievable, but with the right conditions, errors, and demand, this coin could fetch a small fortune. Whether you've got a few of these coins in your collection or you happen to come across one in your change, now you know the potential hidden value they hold. So, if you're a serious coin collector or just someone who appreciates history, make sure to check your quarters. You never know when you might find a rare gem that could be worth far more than just a quarter. And if you're new to collecting, keep an eye on the upcoming coins in the American Women Quarters program. They could be worth a lot more in the future. Top 3, we've got a hidden gem that's worth paying close attention to, the United States 1994 quarter dollar. You might think of this as just another coin from the 1990s, but wait until you hear how valuable it could be. This quarter, minted over 30 years ago, might just be the key to unlocking a fortune. Stick with me until the end, because we're about to explore the rare details that make this coin one you definitely don't want to overlook. At first glance, the 1994 quarter may seem like just another coin in your collection. It features the classic design of George Washington, and the reverse side shows an eagle, just like many other quarters minted before it. However, the story behind this quarter is a little more complex, and there's much more to it than meets the eye. This is a coin that has caught the attention of collectors for its unique characteristics, rarity, and potential errors that can make it far more valuable than its face value. The 1994 quarter was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing large quantities of these coins for circulation. But that's exactly what makes it rare. Over the years, many of these coins were heavily circulated, worn down, and damaged. The number of well-preserved, uncirculated 1994 quarters is surprisingly low. And if you happen to find one in excellent condition, you could be sitting on something worth much more than a simple quarter. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin stand out from the rest. One of the key factors in determining a coin's value is its condition. The 1994 quarter wasn't necessarily made to be a rare collectible, it was produced in mass quantities. However, if you find one that's never been circulated or shows little to no signs of wear, that's when things start to get interesting. Uncirculated coins are highly sought after by collectors because they are in pristine condition, and a coin that has been kept in excellent shape for over 3 decades is a rare find indeed, but the story doesn't end there. Some 1994 quarters were struck with minting errors, which makes them even more valuable. Errors can happen during the minting process, and when they do, it can turn an ordinary coin into a sought-after treasure. Some of the most valuable 1994 quarters have been found with off-center strikes, where the design wasn't perfectly aligned, creating a unique visual effect. Others may have double dies, where the design was accidentally struck multiple times, making parts of the coin appear bolder than usual. These minting errors are what collectors dream of. Error coins are rare by nature, and they stand out from regular, everyday coins. If you happen to find a 1994 quarter with one of these minting mistakes, it could be worth far more than just 25 cents. These coins are unique, and they add a whole new level of value, especially to serious collectors looking for rare pieces to add to their collection. As time passes, coins like the 1994 quarter that were once part of regular circulation become increasingly hard to find in perfect condition. And that rarity only adds to the appeal. The demand for well-preserved 1994 quarters is growing as more collectors turn their attention to the 1990s era coins, knowing that they could hold significant value. As these coins become scarcer over the years, their value will likely continue to rise, especially those with minting errors. So, you might be wondering, how much is a 1994 quarter really worth? Well, if you happen to come across a 1994 quarter in flawless, uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a rare error, it could be worth far more than you expect. Some collectors have reported that certain 1994 quarters with minting flaws or pristine conditions have been sold for as much as $61,000. Yes, you heard that right, $61,000 for a single 1994 quarter. This is the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting so exciting. What seems like a small, everyday coin could turn out to be worth a life-changing amount of money, depending on its condition and any rare features it might possess. So, if you're out there looking through your change or flipping through old coins you've collected over the years, keep your eyes peeled. You just might find a treasure. Top 4, we're going to talk about a specific quarter that might be hiding in your collection, the 1996 D quarter. While this might seem like just another quarter at first glance, trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, this coin could very well be the next big find in your collection. Stick around, because we're about to dive into what makes the 1996 D quarter so special, and why it could be worth way more than its face value. First off, let's break down what makes the 1996 D quarter unique. The D on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, where it was produced. The 1996 D quarter was part of the regular series of quarters minted that year, so you might think it's just another run-of-the-mill coin. But here's where things start to get interesting. This coin was released during a pivotal time in American coin history. In 1996, the United States was still riding high on the economic prosperity of the 90s, and millions of these quarters were produced for circulation. But like many other coins from this era, most of them ended up worn out, faded, or simply lost in the shuffle of everyday transactions. So, what makes this quarter rare, and why should collectors care about it? Well, rarity is the key factor. While millions of 1996 D quarters were minted, very few have survived in mint condition. Most of the coins you'll find are ones that have been circulated heavily, showing signs of wear and tear. But if you happen to find one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, you've got a potential treasure on your hands. Now, let's take a closer look at what can make a coin like this valuable: its condition. Coins that have been kept in excellent condition, without scratches, dents, or discoloration, are highly sought after. In the world of coin collecting, the grade or condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. A quarter that's been preserved in perfect shape, almost as if it were just minted yesterday, can fetch much higher prices than one that's been circulated for decades. So, if you've kept a 1996 D quarter in a safe place, you could be looking at something much more valuable than a typical 25-cent coin, but there's another twist to the story. Some 1996 D quarters were minted with rare errors, which can significantly increase their value. Minting errors are mistakes that happen during the production process, and when they occur, they can create unique, one-of-a-kind coins. For example, an off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned, can make the coin more valuable because it's so rare. Other errors could include double strikes, where the design appears multiple times, or even wrong metal mixtures that can give the coin a distinct look and feel. These error coins are highly prized by collectors because they're unlike any other coin out there. If you happen to find a 1996 D quarter with one of these minting errors, you could be holding onto something really special, and much more valuable. Minting errors don't happen often, which is why they're so desirable in the world of coin collecting. Even a slight variation can turn a relatively common coin into a highly sought-after treasure. You might be wondering, how much is a 1996 D quarter actually worth? Well, depending on its condition and whether it has any minting errors, this coin could be worth a lot more than you might expect. Some collectors have reported paying hefty sums for these quarters when they're in excellent condition or possess rare characteristics. If you have a 1996 D quarter that's in mint condition, or even one with an error, it could be worth as much as $56,000, yes, you heard that right, $56,000 for a single coin. That's the kind of value that makes coin collecting so thrilling. A simple quarter, sitting in your collection or tucked away in your change jar, could be worth a fortune if it's in the right condition or has a rare error. So, if you've got any 1996 D quarters lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at them. Top 5, we're diving into a coin that might just be hiding in your collection, a United States 1996 P quarter. At first glance, you might think it's just another quarter, but trust me, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. This seemingly simple piece of currency is more than just a memento of the 90s, it could actually be worth a small fortune. So, let's take a closer look at what makes the 1996 P quarter stand out, and why it's capturing the attention of collectors all over the world. The 1996 P quarter is part of the ongoing series of U.S. quarters featuring George Washington's portrait on the obverse, and the familiar eagle design on the reverse. But while this coin may appear standard at first, it's what makes this particular year and mint mark, the P indicating it was minted in Philadelphia, that can turn this quarter into a high-value item. So, what makes this quarter so special? One key factor is rarity. In 1996, millions of these coins were minted, but like many others, most were used in everyday transactions and have been worn down over time. This means that the number of 1996 P quarters still in excellent condition is incredibly low, and that's exactly what collectors are looking for. If you're lucky enough to have one that's in near-perfect condition, unblemished, with sharp details and no signs of wear, you might have a rare find on your hands. As we all know, condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. The better the coin's condition, the higher its potential value. Coins that were heavily circulated show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and faded designs, while coins that have been kept in pristine condition are far rarer and much more desirable. So, if you happen to have a 1996 P quarter that has been carefully preserved, whether it's tucked away in a coin album or a collection box, you might just have a coin that's worth much more than you thought. But wait, there's more. What really sets this coin apart from the rest are potential minting errors. Errors are one of the biggest factors that can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. Minting mistakes, like off-center strikes, double strikes, or design misalignments, make a coin unique and highly desirable to collectors. For example, if your 1996 P quarter has an off-center design or any unusual characteristics due to a minting error, it could be worth far more than its face value. These errors are rare, and they happen when the coin isn't struck properly, creating a one-of-a-kind collectible. Error coins like these are the holy grail for many collectors. The rarity of these mistakes, combined with their unique appeal, drives up their value. A 1996 p quarter with an error could potentially bring in much higher prices than a regular, well-preserved version of the same coin. Imagine having a coin that was mistakenly struck in a way that no other coin in circulation looks like it. Talk about a valuable find. Now, you might be wondering, how much could a 1996 p quarter really be worth? Here's the exciting part: if you have one in mint condition or, even better, with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than you expected. Some collectors have reported paying significant sums for 1996 p quarters in exceptional condition or with minting flaws. In fact, if you've got one of these rare coins, it could be worth as much as $59,000. Yes, you heard me right, $59,000. That's the kind of value a single coin can carry, and it could be sitting right in your collection without you even realizing it. Whether it's in your loose change or tucked away in an old jar, that 1996 p quarter could turn out to be your next big discovery. So, if you're a coin collector, now's the time to start checking your collection and your change. Who knows, you might just stumble upon a 1996 p quarter that's worth far more than you imagined. And if you're new to the hobby, this is the perfect reminder that coins can hold hidden value, even when they seem ordinary at first. Top 6. We've got an exciting find for all you coin collectors and enthusiasts out there. We're about to talk about a coin that's often overlooked, but could actually be worth a small fortune: the United States 1967 quarter. At first glance, it may seem like just another coin from the mid-60s, but trust me, there's a lot more to this piece of history than meets the eye. Stick around, because we're going to uncover the reasons why this particular quarter could be worth far more than you might think. The 1967 quarter might seem like a typical piece of currency from the 1960s. The familiar design of George Washington's profile on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse are classic features of the quarter that many collectors are familiar with. However, it's what makes the 1967 quarter so rare and valuable that will blow your mind. This coin was minted during a very interesting time in American history, a time of social change and economic shifts. Though the country was experiencing growth and prosperity, it was also on the brink of significant transformations. But beyond the historical context, the 1967 quarter has some features that make it a standout in the world of numismatics. First and foremost, what makes this coin rare is its age and condition. The 1967 quarter is over 50 years old now, and as you know, time takes its toll on coins. Most of these quarters were circulated widely throughout the 60s and 70s, and by now, many have been worn down, scratched, or damaged. However, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is incredibly rare, and that's where the value lies. Coins that have been preserved in excellent shape, with no visible signs of wear or discoloration, are highly sought after by collectors. A well-preserved 1967 quarter is a prized possession, and the value only increases with its condition, but the rarity doesn't stop there. What really excites collectors about the 1967 quarter are the potential minting errors that make certain pieces even more valuable. Minting errors are rare mistakes made during the coin production process, and when they happen, they can transform an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Some of the most valuable 1967 quarters feature errors like double strikes, where the design appears twice on the coin, or off-center strikes, where the image is misaligned, creating a unique and distinctive look. These types of errors can make a coin far more valuable, and collectors are always on the lookout for them. If your 1967 quarter has one of these minting errors, it could be worth a lot more than a typical quarter. Error coins are fascinating to collectors because they're one of a kind. The rarity of these errors, combined with the fact that they usually only affect a small number of coins, makes them even more desirable. So if you have a 1967 quarter that features a minting mistake, you could be holding on to something very special. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could this quarter really be worth? Well, if you happen to have a 1967 quarter that's in perfect, uncirculated condition, or even one that features a minting error, you could be looking at a truly valuable coin. Some 1967 quarters with rare features or flawless preservation have sold for as much as $76,000, yes, you heard that right, $76,000. That's the kind of value that can make your jaw drop. A single coin that was minted over 50 years ago could end up being worth a small fortune, and it's sitting right there in your collection or change jar, waiting to be discovered. Whether you inherited a collection from a relative or just found a quarter hiding in your pocket, that 1967 quarter could be your ticket to a major windfall. So, take a moment and check through your old coins. Who knows, you might be holding onto a 1967 quarter that's worth far more than face value. Whether it's a rare error coin or one that's been perfectly preserved, this little quarter might just be the hidden gem of your collection. Top 7 and last unique coin. We're going to talk about a coin that might be sitting right in your collection, or even in your change jar, just waiting to be discovered, the 1983 United States quarter. At first glance, this might look like just another quarter from the 80s, but trust me, it's far more valuable than you might think. Stick with us as we explore what makes the 1983 quarter so special, the factors that contribute to its rarity, and how it could be worth a lot more than you imagined. Let's start with some background on the 1983 quarter. It was a year when the United States was experiencing significant economic shifts. The country was coming out of a recession, and the minting of coins was still part of the ongoing effort to keep the economy moving. The 1983 quarter, like many of its counterparts, was widely circulated throughout the United States and used for everyday transactions. So, why are we talking about this particular coin today? The answer lies in the rarity and unique characteristics that some 1983 quarters have that make them highly sought after by collectors. The first thing to understand is that coins from 1983 weren't produced in particularly limited quantities. In fact, millions of them were struck. However, as with many coins from this era, the ones that have survived in exceptional condition are incredibly rare. Most of the 1983 quarters you'll find today have been circulated extensively, showing signs of wear, scratches, and fading. But if you happen to stumble upon a 1983 quarter that has been preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, it could be worth far more than you think. As you may know, condition is one of the most important factors in determining a coin's value. A well-preserved coin, free from damage, discoloration, or signs of heavy use, is considered a high-grade coin. And when it comes to the 1983 quarter, high-grade examples are highly desirable. Collectors pay a premium for coins that look like they just came off the minting press, even though they were made over 30 years ago. So, if you have a 1983 quarter that's in pristine condition, you're already starting to tap into its hidden value, but it doesn't stop there. The real jackpot comes when you factor in minting errors. Some of the 1983 quarters produced that year have been known to contain unique errors that make them even more valuable. Minting errors occur when there's a mistake during the production process, resulting in a coin with unusual features. For example, off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, or double strikes, where the same design appears more than once, are highly prized by collectors. These types of minting errors make a coin more distinct and, in many cases, much more valuable. If your 1983 quarter happens to have a noticeable error, such as an off-center strike or any other unusual feature, you could have a rare piece on your hands that is worth significantly more than a typical, well-preserved example. Minting errors are particularly exciting for collectors because they're so rare. It's not every day that a coin with a unique flaw or design mistake turns up, and when one does, it becomes a highly sought-after item. If you've ever found a coin that looks a little different from the rest, it might be due to one of these errors, and it could be worth much more than face value. Now, you're probably wondering just how much a 1983 quarter could actually be worth. Well, depending on its condition and any potential minting errors, this coin could be valued at a lot more than you expect. If you happen to have a 1983 quarter that's in mint condition or one that features a rare minting error, it could easily be worth $70,000. Yes, that's right, $70,000 for a single 1983 quarter. It might sound unbelievable, but for the right collector, that's the value a high-quality 1983 quarter with a rare minting error can command. Whether it's tucked away in your coin collection or hidden in your spare change, that unassuming quarter could be a game changer when it comes to its value. So, next time you come across a 1983 quarter, take a moment to really inspect it. Look for any signs of wear, check its condition, and see if it might have any of those rare minting errors that could make it worth a fortune. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about collecting coins, it's about discovering hidden treasures, and you could be sitting on one without even realizing it. If you found this video interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on any future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and remember, your 1983 quarter could be worth $70,000. Happy collecting!